Sooner Schooner, synonymous with Oklahoma football, which has been synonymous with success here at Oklahoma Memorial Stadium. It is the 142nd consecutive sellout, the second longest streak in all of college football.
Their way here to take on the Sooners.
And surely this will be a day they will never forget. Deep ball right off the bat on first down, trying to hit Dante Cephas, a.k.a. the Slim Reaper, their go-to wide receiver, who they believe will be a high NFL draft pick. Colin Schlee is the quarterback for the Golden Flashes, and he is a good one. A redshirt junior out of the state of Maryland, was under-recruited, but in terms of raw ability, the arm, the legs, they believe they've got a star in the making. They're going to go Wildcat. Now Schlee back at the quarterback spot. Gets it. Quick toss to the near side and caught at the 30-yard line. That's Raymond James out of Dayton, Ohio. His second grab of the year for 5 yards.
This day and age where everybody's transferring, to see a quarterback sit, learn, and stay is something that we don't see that often anymore in college football. And that's exactly what Colin Schlee did as he sat behind Dustin Crum.
Yeah, Dustin Crum was the two-time MAC Player of the Year. Learned a lot from him, but they believe Schlee's top-end potential a little bit better in terms of overall athletic talent. This is 3rd and 5 for Schlee. Pocket collapsing. Schlee has nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. Reggie Grimes, who had a career-best 2.5 sacks last week, picks up one here along with Isaiah Coe.
In this game, Colin Schlee can't afford to do anything like this. The ball's got to get out of his hand. He starts to try to make moves and plays with his feet outside the pocket. This is going to be the end result.
Reggie Grimes has been playing with some extra inspiration. Alex will have more on that after the punt, but he has been possessed here in the first couple of games of this season. 11-yard loss on the sack, and that'll send the punting unit out. Josh Smith will boot it for the Golden Flashes. Angles it toward the far sideline, and a fair catch caught at the 38 as we check in with Alex.
Well, Mike, a broken left collarbone had sidelined Dillon Gabriel for majority of the 2021 season. I had a chance to talk with him this week about returning to the field and just his journey. It had been 350 days since he had faced an opponent, but all the hard work in the offseason, the rehabbing, the conditioning, transferring here to Oklahoma, a place he said was such a great fit. He said it meant the world to him to get his first win in a Sooners uniform, but he also reminded me there's still a lot to accomplish and build on for this offense.
He put up some staggering numbers at UCF, 72 career touchdown passes. That was his first introduction to Jeff Lebby, the offensive coordinator. Of course, Oklahoma gets Jeff Lebby from Ole Miss, Ryan, and what a huge get that was.
Oh, it was a huge factor when you lose somebody like Lincoln Riley, who is so distinct on offense. To add somebody like Jeff Lebby is what this team needed.
It's Eric Gray, the Tennessee transfer, coming off his 6th 100-yard game of his career, the first in an Oklahoma uniform.
Little misdirection there, and then simply good job by the defense of getting in front of him and dragging him down. Eric Gray keeps his legs churning for a few to set up a shorter 3rd down, a manageable one.
Oklahoma stays tempo, 3rd and 6, 5 in the pattern for Gabriel. All kinds of time. Now rolling out to the right side, looking downfield. Nobody open, and finally gets pummeled at the 40-yard line. Great coverage by the Kent State defense, and the hit provided by Caleb Johns.
A wonderful job in the secondary of covering everybody up, and Dillon tries to make something go with his feet, but Caleb Jones is just shot out of a cannon there to get him down on the ground and set up Oklahoma to punt in their first series.
Great job by the Golden Flashes defense. Michael Turk, you might be looking at the best punter in all of college football. He averages nearly 46 yards a punt for his career. Fair catch at the 15. It'll be the second series for Kent State when we return from Norman. No score here in the first quarter.
Oh, Bud Light Seltzer Retro Tie-Dye?
Have you tried these yet?
Bud Light Seltzer Retro Tie-Dye, the loudest flavors ever.
This is what you've trained for. Sun up to sundown. And at the end of the day, all that hard work pays off. Because when you put forth the effort, the drive, the dedication, you become unstoppable. And that, my friends, is what it's all about. Landers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Norman is driven to serve.
Here's to craftsmanship. When you take your sweet time and do it by hand, it always leads to the good stuff. The pit masters at Rib Crib practice their craft every single day. Slow smoking with hickory around the clock to bring you righteous ribs, sit your butt down brisket, and all the good stuff you love. Rib Crib, smoking the good stuff.
I've worked at ACS for 13 years, almost 14. What makes me excited to go to work every day is being able to help my guys out, the guys in the field. I mean, those are the guys that make this place run, our installers, our service techs. I want to make sure that they're fully taken care of. I literally come to work every day, pretty much just do anything and everything that needs to be done. And just to continue to see this place grow from what it was 14 years ago to now, and then even further, is going to be pretty cool to see.
Hey, cheap flight alert.
Hawaii? Can we go?
Well, maybe. I'll put a request in Monday.
Unnecessary action hero.
Was that necessary?
No, neither is missing this deal. With Paycom, vacation is yours to manage. Not to mention benefits, scheduling, payroll. It's HR in the palm of your hand.
Oh.
Schedule a demo at paycom.com and make the unnecessary unnecessary.
Approved.
Oh, Bud Light Seltzer Retro Tie-Dye?
Have you tried these yet?
Bud Light Seltzer Retro Tie-Dye, the loudest flavors ever.
No score here in the early going. Kent State led by head coach Sean Lewis. Who is Sean Lewis? He's a former Wisconsin tight end and a longtime Dino Babers assistant at 2 spots, including Syracuse. He credits Dino Babers really with this opportunity to get his first head coaching job, and Dino Babers credits him with the success that he's had, saying, quote, "It's not surprising to see Sean have success at Kent State. He's innovative, connects with players. We're all proud of him and enjoy watching his games when we get the opportunity." You never know, Ryan Leaf, who's going to give you that first break in the coaching business. For Sean Lewis, it was Dino Babers.
It's like anything else when you're a player and you're being recruited. You know, you develop this relationship with someone who's going to mentor you, who teach you. Mike Price was that man for me at Washington State. He's had a ton of in his coaching tree. Dino Babers being one of them.
That's right. In between the tackles, straight up the gut, and a positive game for Marquez Cooper, who stands all of 5'6", but he's rocked up. He's about 190 pounds, all muscle.
Sometimes when you're that small, you get hidden behind that offensive line and no one can find you.
And kind of a Darren Sproles vibe to him. Penalty flags falling. You might have Sam Allen moving early on the O-line.
Offside, defense, number 88. With contact in the neutral zone, 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
Instead, that'll be on the defensive tackle, Jordan Kelly, the senior out of Tulsa.
This one always baffles me when you're the guy right over the football. I mean, the only thing you're looking at is the football. So just wait for it to be snapped. And so it always makes me laugh. That's exactly what the coach asks him on the sideline. What were you looking at, son?
Don't listen, just look.
Yep.
First down and 10. And again to the ground, again straight up the gut with Marquez Cooper, the junior out of Gaithersburg, Maryland. And on the stop, it's Agwebu. David Agwebu, the senior who really runs the show on that defense for Oklahoma, number 2.
This offense is going to be up-tempo. They're going to make sure they get up to the line of scrimmage so Oklahoma doesn't have a chance to substitute, but then they'll get into their play, and it may take a little bit longer into the play clock.
They'll call it 2nd and 6. And again, they will run. A steady dose of number 1 in white, Marquez Cooper. The other thing they like about Cooper is that he can play every down. He can block, he can catch. You don't have to take him out on 3rd down. He's well conditioned, doesn't get tired, so he'll be used early and often in this ball game.
It's a huge factor when you're able to have that consistency.
On 3rd and 4, tucking it and running it is Schlee. And Schlee, a great athlete, gets to the sticks and then some. Another stop for Ugwoegbu. Colin Schlee, who is an outstanding baseball player out of high school.
Just triple option, really. Reads the end, pulls it, and gets the first down.
Kent State, much like Oklahoma, not afraid to go up tempo. Oklahoma showing blitz, and they will bottle up Cooper this time. That is Danny Stutzman, who had a career-high 9 tackles last week, the sophomore out of Windermere, Florida.
They bring the guy off the slot receiver, and there's no one there to block him. He stops the play early, and then Stutzman cleans it up for a loss.
They love their linebacking core this year in Norman with Stutzman, Ugwoegbu, and Deshaun White. Pass falls incomplete. Intended for Cooper out of the backfield. So a 3rd down and long for Kent State.
For Kent State to have success in this game, they just cannot get behind the sticks, right? It can't be a loss of yards here. What they did in the first few plays of this drive to set up 2nd and manageable. When you're sitting in 3rd and 11, it really allows Brent Venables' defense then to come and do a lot to confuse the young quarterback.
Ted Roof's defense subbing in players at the last second there. Out of the gun, Schlee on 3rd and 11. 5-man rush. Schlee going to tuck it and run to the 40. Weaving his way past the 45. Lunges to the 49, and that'll be a first down. Brilliant run by Colin Schlee. Harmon on the stop for OU.
Some confusion out of the defensive backfield. Guys were running wide open, but Schlee sees an opening and takes off and picks up a huge first down on 3rd and 11.
Oklahoma didn't allow a rush greater than 8 yards last week in the win against UTEP. On 1st down, trips to the near side. Cooper the lone back. Schlee fakes the handoff, looking deep down the sideline, one-on-one coverage, and unable to reel it in was Cephas. He's their game breaker, but he was shadowed that time by Woody Washington.
Watch here with the play action, how it freezes the defense, brings the safety down. Now he's got one-on-one down the sideline. Wonder how his shoulder pad got exposed there, right? Must mean he was getting tugged on a little bit early in that. The officials didn't catch it, got away with something, and sets up a long 2nd down.
I'll be curious, Ryan, what you think of Schlee's arm throughout this game. I was impressed last week watching the tape against Washington. Nice second effort, and still dragging bodies is Cooper again. Not tall, but certainly plenty strong.
Well, kind of what we talked about, how small he is, right? He's behind that big offensive line. Watch this. He disappears in the scrum in there, and no one sees where he's at. Where's he at? Boom! Then he explodes through it and gets out on the back end, setting up a manageable 3rd down.
Yeah, 3rd down and 4.
I already can tell you about Schlee. His arm is...
It's legit,
yeah,
right?
It's legit.
I mean, just effortless, even on that ball that fell incomplete down the sideline. 3rd and 4. Handoff, bottled up behind the line of scrimmage and dragged backwards. Kelvin Gilliam leading the charge. There are about 3 or 4 guys for Oklahoma on a gang tackle.
Well, you can't have a mistake like this where you bobble the football, it sets off a chain of events that doesn't allow for them to have a lot of success. And of course, Oklahoma is just all over them in the backfield, and they'll get the ball back on offense.
Oklahoma's defense already 3 tackles for loss here in this opening quarter. Gilliam, just a redshirt freshman out of Richmond, Virginia. Another punt for Smith. Spiraling kick and a fair catch at the 12-yard line by Marvin Mims. We'll get another look at that Oklahoma offense when we come back from Norman. Hey, what, we really enjoyed our time with Brent Venables yesterday, and how could you not appreciate that moment, getting choked up, waited so long before we finally took the opportunity. Could have had it years ago, but took the opportunity to come back to Oklahoma. And Ryan, that's one of the few times Brent Venables will ever be speechless, because you talk to Brent Venables, he is a ball of energy. I mean, he is 100 miles an hour.
It's palpable, and everybody can feel it.
Really enjoyed our meetings with the coaching staff yesterday. And a big play in the passing game. That is the first reception for Marvin Mims. Marvin Mims, who has led the Sooners in receiving yards the last 2 years, on pace to have another big one. That goes for 32. Quick snap on first down and dragged down for a loss is Marcus Major. Great pursuit that time by Marvin Pierre.
Wonderful pursuit. When Oklahoma gets a first down, and either way, this offense, you want to go. You want to go as quickly as you can. And this is one where the defense was ready. Going up against the same type of offense every day in practice is very helpful.
Major had 2 rushing touchdowns last week for OU, and again, no daylight. This time it's Marvin Mims, and he's bottled up for a loss as well. So back-to-back negative plays will set up a 3rd down and 12.
You know, speaking with Jeff Levy, he talked about how similar the offenses are and how the defenses have been prepared for it. And right there, you saw a perfect example. Nico Bolden from the safety position comes firing down to make the tackle for a loss.
3 wide set for Gabriel. With Major to his left. 4-man rush by Kent State. Underneath and incomplete, intended for the tight end Braden Willis, who had 2 touchdowns last week. Nico Bolden had great pressure right in the face of Gabriel as he tossed it. So the Oklahoma offense sputtering here in the early going. Turk boots another one. And racing up to the 15 of field, it is James. James knocked down at the 27-yard line, and a penalty flag. I mean, are you kidding me?
Personal foul, face mask, receiving team, number 41. That penalty will be enforced half the distance of the goal from the end of the kick. First down.
Luke Murphy.
I asked him if
I can only imagine how heavy the heart is for that young man in his junior season out of the state of Tennessee. Third series of the quarter for Kent State after the 44-yard punt and then the penalty. On the run, it's going to be Bradford. First time he's toe to the rock. Brian Bradford, the junior out of St. Louis. Billy Bowman on the stop. Billy Bowman, who they say is just an athletic freak, coming off a career-high 9 tackles last week, number 5 for Oklahoma. Quick snap. And a little jitterbug move straight up the gut for Brian Bradford. Picks up a couple. Jeffrey Johnson, the transfer from Tulane, in on the stop.
Defensive front does a good job in the trenches here. Just holds on to the offensive lineman before they were all able to rally and make the tackle. Backed up situation, you can't afford to make a mistake here. Turn it over, take a big sack.
Bolden flashes 2 for 4 on 3rd down. Missiles that one over the middle, but stacked up as soon as he caught it. Cephas, Billy Bowman in on another tackle for Oklahoma, and that'll force the punting unit back onto the field.
That was one of the biggest things I saw in film last week, was even when UTEP was able to complete passes, these defensive backs were just absolutely all over the wide receivers. There was no yards after the catch. When the ball was caught, they were dragged and got down to the ground. Billy Bowman was a big part of that. Watch for Key Lawrence as well as the other corners making plays too.
There's a lot of newcomers on both sides of the ball, including that defense. 60 players on the roster coming into this season. Never took a snap for OU. Good looking punt and a fair catch called for at the 34. On the back pedal by Marvin Mims. We'll see if Oklahoma's offense can get it going. The far left, and Oklahoma grad. He came to Oklahoma as an offensive lineman, recruited by Coach Stoops. Got hurt right away, had a medical scholarship, and then learned from the likes of Josh Heupel. Continued to work his way as an assistant. Went to Baylor, part of that Art Riles coaching tree, and was actually at UCF when Dylan Gabriel was there. So then he goes to Ole Miss, does a terrific job with Lane Kiffin's offense with the Rebels. winds up getting recruited again by Brent Venables to Oklahoma. And the first phone call Jeff Lebby makes is to Dillon Gabriel saying, look, I know you're thinking about going to UCLA. How about reuniting here in Norman? And the way the story goes, Ryan, it was about 5 minutes away. If he logs on to that class at UCLA, he can't transfer. They got a hold of him just before that. He wound up changing his mind, and everybody's happy that it worked out that way.
Everybody, especially Jeff Lebby, offensive coordinator, with the familiarity of Dillon Gabriel and have known him since he was in high school in that family. It was all really meant to happen.
Gabriel on target there to Braden Willis, the tight end who had 3 grabs, 2 touchdowns last week in the victory over UTEP. Gabriel comes into this game with 72 career touchdown passes.
Fourth and 1 on their side of the 50 here. If I know Brent Venables and Jeff Lebby, if they feel like they can't get 1 yard, then this offense is in for
It was close, but stumbling just enough ahead of the chains is Marcus Major. The first down brought to you by Paycom. With Paycom, employees do their own payroll. Yeah, you heard that right. Learn more at paycom.com.
First down means they can start rolling,
right?
Start being quick, get into their offense.
Eric Gray back in a tailback for Oklahoma. Gabriel from the pocket. Now gets some heavy pursuit. Breaks out of a tackle, but goes down on the second effort. The second wave led by Caleb Johns, the middle linebacker. A loss of 7 on the play.
Dillon Gabriel had a couple guys running down the field. He just didn't feel comfortable enough to let it go. Loses his shoe. And then Caleb Jones comes back. Watch number 3 here. Just blow by the safety. He just didn't feel comfortable planning and letting it go with the pressure that was at his feet.
I think everybody, over 80,000 fans here in the stadium, a little stunned with the offense so far. Gabriel that time knocked away. Blanket coverage on Theo Weiss, the intended target. First time he's been targeted. DJ Miller says, I'm there.
That would have been his 4th read in the progression. He gets to him, but it's a little too late because Weiss comes out of his break open, but by the time the ball is delivered, defensive back Miller's right there on the spot to knock it away.
Another 3rd and long for Oklahoma. 3rd down and 17. Sooners 0 for 3 on 3rd down today. Gabriel, 5 in the pattern. From the pocket, rifles it complete, but immediately knocked down J.J. Hester. All right, what do you do here, Ryan Leaf?
Well, I suspect that they're going to go for it once again, but it looks like they're going to punt it away. Sometimes that's like penance. You know, Jeff Lebby's up there in the box going, hey, well, I'm not going to let you go for it, but you haven't converted enough for me.
Right.
On 3rd down, we're going to punt it, and there's a little penance for that.
Help me, help you.
Yes.
Well, on 4th and 4, they will elect to go field position. Michael Turk, one of the best in the business, angles this one inside the 10. Perfectly done. Kent State will be behind the 8 ball, starting their drive from their own 7-yard line. So with just 48 seconds left to go in the first quarter.
Clemson, Dabo Sweeney, that had to have been special. Here we go.
Kent State wins the toss, will receive, and will take it at the 25 as we say hello for the first time today. Alex Chappell on the sideline.
They make their way here to take on the Sooners.
And surely this will be a day they will never forget. Deep ball right off the bat on 1st down, trying to hit Dante Cephas, a.k.a. the Slim Reaper, their go-to wide receiver, who they believe will be a high NFL draft pick. Colin Schlee is the quarterback for the Golden Flashes, and he is a good one. A redshirt junior out of the state of Maryland, was under-recruited, but in terms of raw ability, the arm, the legs, they believe they've got a star in the making. They're going to go Wildcat. Now Schlee back at the quarterback spot. Gets it. Quick toss to the near side and caught at the 30-yard line. That's Raymond James out of Dayton, Ohio. His second grab of the year for 5 yards.
This day and age where everybody's transferring, to see a quarterback sit, learn, and stay is something that we don't see that often anymore in college football, and that's exactly what Colin Schlee did as he sat behind Dustin Crum.
Yeah, Dustin Crum was the two-time MAC Player of the Year. Learned a lot from him, but they believe Schlee's top-end potential a little bit better in terms of overall athletic talent. This is 3rd and 5 for Schlee. Pocket collapsing. Schlee has nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. Reggie Grimes, who had a career-best 2.5 sacks last week, picks up one here along with Isaiah Coe.
In this game, Colin Schlee can't afford to do anything like this. The ball's got to get out of his hand. He starts to try to make moves and plays with his feet outside the pocket. This is going to be the end result.
Reggie Grimes has been playing with some extra inspiration. Alex will have more on that after the punt, but he has been possessed here in the first couple of games of this season. 11-yard loss on the sack, and that'll send the punting unit out. Josh Smith will boot it for the Golden Flashes. Angles it toward the far sideline, and a fair catch caught at the 38 as we check in with Alex.
At Washington State, he's had a ton of in his coaching tree. Dino Babers being one of them.
That's right. In between the tackles, straight up the gut. And a positive game for Marquez Cooper, who stands all of 5'6", but he's rocked up. He's about 190 pounds, all muscle.
Sometimes when you're that small, you get hidden behind that offensive line and no one can find you.
A kind of a Darren Sproles vibe to him. Penalty flags falling. And you might have Sam Allen moving early on the O-line.
Offside, defense, number 88. With contact in the neutral zone, 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
Instead, that'll be on the defensive tackle, Jordan Kelly, the senior out of Tulsa.
This one always baffles me when you're the guy right over the football. I mean, the only thing you're looking at is the football. So just wait for it to be snapped. And so it always makes me laugh. That's exactly what the coach asks him on the sideline. What were you looking at, son?
Don't listen, just look.
Yep.
First down and 10. And again to the ground. Again straight up the gut with Marquez Cooper, the junior out of Gaithersburg, Maryland. And on the stop, it's Agwebu. David Agwebu, the senior who really runs the show on that defense for Oklahoma, number 2.
This offense is going to be up-tempo. They're going to make sure they get up to the line of scrimmage so Oklahoma doesn't have a chance to substitute, but then they'll get into their play, and it may take a little bit longer into the play clock.
They'll call it 2nd and 6. And again, they will run. A steady dose of number 1 in white, Marquez Cooper. The other thing they like about Cooper is that he can play every down. He can block, he can catch. You don't have to take him out on 3rd down. He's well-conditioned, doesn't get tired, so he'll be used early and often in this ball game.
It's a huge factor when you're able to have that consistency.
On 3rd and 4, tucking it and running it is Schlee. And Schlee, a great athlete, gets to the sticks and then some. Another stop for Agwebu. Colin Schlee, who is an outstanding baseball player out of high school.
Just triple option, really. Reads the end, pulls it, and gets the first down.
Kent State, much like Oklahoma, not afraid to go up tempo. Oklahoma showing blitz, and they will bottle up Cooper this time. That is Danny Stutzman, who had a career-high 9 tackles last week, the sophomore out of Windermere, Florida.
They bring the guy off the slot receiver, and there's no one there to block him. He stops the play early, and then Stutzman cleans it up for a loss.
They love their linebacking core this year in Norman with Stutzman, Agwebu, and Deshaun White. Pass falls, incomplete, intended for Cooper out of the backfield. So a 3rd down and long for Kent State.
for Kent State to have success in this game, they just cannot get behind the sticks, right? It can't be a loss of yards here. What they did in the first few plays of this drive to set up second and manageable. When you're sitting in 3rd and 11, it really allows Brent Venables' defense then to come and do a lot to confuse the young quarterback.
Ted Roof's defense subbing in players at the last second there. Out of the gun, Schlee on 3rd and 11. 5-man rush. Schlee going to tuck it and run to the 40. Weaving his way past the 45. Lunges to the 49, and that'll be a first down. Brilliant run by Colin Schlee. Harmon on the stop for OU.
Some confusion out of the defensive backfield. Guys were running wide open, but Schlee sees an opening and takes off and picks up a huge first down on 3rd and 11.
Oklahoma didn't allow a rush greater than 8 yards last week in the win against UTEP. On first down, trips to the near side. Cooper the lone back. Schlee fakes the handoff, looking deep down the sideline. One-on-one coverage, and unable to reel it in was Cephas. He's their game breaker, but he was shadowed that time by Woody Washington.
Watch here with the play action, how it freezes the defense, brings the safety down. Now he's got one-on-one down the sideline. Wonder how his shoulder pad got exposed there, right? Must mean he was getting tugged on a little bit early in that. The officials didn't catch it, got away with something, and sets up a long second down.
I'll be curious, Ryan, what you think of Schlee's arm throughout this game. I was impressed last week watching the tape against Washington. Nice second effort, and still dragging bodies is Cooper. Again, not tall, but certainly plenty strong.
Well, kind of what we talked about, how small he is, right? He's behind that big offensive line. Watch this. He disappears in the scrum in there, and no one sees where he's at. Where's he at? Boom! Then he explodes through it and gets out on the back end, setting up a manageable 3rd down.
Yeah, 3rd down and 4.
I already can tell you about Schlee. His arm is...
It's legit,
yeah,
right?
It's legit.
I mean, just effortless, even on that ball that fell incomplete down the sideline. 3rd and 4. Handoff, bottled up behind the line of scrimmage and dragged backwards. Kelvin Gilliam leading the charge. There are about 3 or 4 guys for Oklahoma on a gang tackle.
Well, you can't have a mistake like this where you bobble the football, it sets off a chain of events that doesn't allow for them to have a lot of success. And of course, Oklahoma is just all over them in the backfield, and they'll get the ball back on offense.
Oklahoma's defense already 3 tackles for loss here in this opening quarter. Gilliam, just a redshirt freshman out of Richmond, Virginia. Another punt for Smith. Spiraling kick and a fair catch at the 12-yard line by Marvin Mims. That's one of the few times Brent Venables will ever be speechless, because you talk to Brent Venables, he is a ball of energy. I mean, he is 100 miles an hour.
It's palpable, and everybody can feel it, and so it comes across as real as possible. That's why this team has gravitated to him so quickly.
Really enjoyed our meetings with the coaching staff yesterday, and a big play in the passing game. That is the first reception for Marvin Mims. Marvin Mims, who has led the Sooners in receiving yards the last 2 years, on pace to have another big one. That goes for 32. Quick snap on first down and dragged down for a loss is Marcus Major. Great pursuit that time by Marvin Pierre.
Wonderful pursuit. When Oklahoma gets a first down, and either way, this is offense, you want to go. You want to go as quickly as you can. And this is one where the defense was ready. Going up against the same type of offense every day in practice is very helpful.
Major had 2 rushing touchdowns last week for OU, and again, no daylight. This time it's Marvin Mims, and he's bottled up for a loss as well. So back-to-back negative plays will set up a 3rd down and 12.
You know, speaking with Jeff Levy, he talked about how similar the offenses are and how the defenses have been prepared for it. And right there, you saw a perfect example. Nico Bolden from the safety position comes firing down to make the tackle for a loss.
3 wide set for Gabriel. With Major to his left. 4-man rush by Kent State. Underneath and incomplete, intending for the tight end Braden Willis, who had 2 touchdowns last week. Nico Bolden had great pressure right in the face of Gabriel as he tossed it. defense sputtering here in the early going. Turk boots another one. And racing up to the 15 of fielding is James. James knocked down at the 27-yard line, and a penalty flag. The third series of the quarter for Kent State after the 44-yard punt and then the penalty. On the run, it's going to be Bradford. First time he's toted the rock. Brian Bradford, the junior out of St. Louis. Billy Bowman on the stop. Billy Bowman, who they say is just an athletic freak, coming off a career-high 9 tackles last week, number 5 for Oklahoma. Quick snap. And a little jitterbug move straight up the gut for Brian Bradford. Picks up a couple. Jeffrey Johnson, the transfer from Tulane, in on the stop.
Defensive front does a good job in the trenches here. Just holds on to the offensive lineman before they were all able to rally and make the tackle. Backed up situation, you can't afford to make a mistake here. Turn it over, take a big sack.
Golden flashes 2 for 4 on third down. Missiles that one over the middle, but stacked up as soon as he caught it. Cephas, Billy Bowman in on another tackle for Oklahoma, and that'll force the punting unit back onto the field.
That was one of the biggest things I saw in film last week, was even when UTEP was able to complete passes, these defensive backs were just absolutely all over the wide receivers. There was no yards after the catch. When the ball was caught, they were dragged and got down to the ground. Billy Bowman was a big part of that. Watch for Key Lawrence as well as the other corners making plays too.
There's a lot of newcomers on both sides of the ball, including that defense. 60 players on the roster coming into this season. Never took a snap for OU. Good looking punt and a fair catch called for at the 34. Navash Heupel continued to work his way as an assistant, went to Baylor, part of that Art Riles coaching tree, and was actually at UCF when Dylan Gabriel was there. So then he goes to Ole Miss, does a terrific job with Lane Kiffin's offense with the Rebels, winds up getting recruited again by Brent Venables to Oklahoma, and the first phone call Jeff Levy makes is to Dylan Gabriel saying, look, I know you're thinking about going to UCLA. How about reuniting here in Norman? And the way the story goes, Ryan, it was about 5 minutes away. If he logs onto that class at UCLA, he can't transfer. They got a hold of him just before that. He wound up changing his mind, and everybody's happy that it worked out that way.
Everybody, especially Jeff Levy, offensive coordinator, with the familiarity of Dylan Gabriel, and have known him since he was in high school in that family. It was all really meant to happen.
Gabriel on target there to Braden Willis, the tight end who had 3 grabs, 2 touchdowns last week in the victory over UTEP. Gabriel comes into this game with 72 career touchdown passes.
Fourth and 1 on their side of the 50 here. If I know Brent Venables and Jeff Levy, if they feel like they can't get 1 yard, then this offense is in for
It was close, but stumbling just enough ahead of the chains is Marcus Major. The first down brought to you by Paycom. With Paycom, employees do their own payroll. Yeah, you heard that right. Learn more at paycom.com.
First down means they can start rolling,
right?
Start being quick, get into their offense.
Eric Gray back in a tailback for Oklahoma. Gabriel from the pocket. Now gets some heavy pursuit. Breaks out of a tackle, but goes down on the second effort. The second wave led by Caleb Johns, the middle linebacker. A loss of 7 on the play.
Dylan Gabriel had a couple guys running down the field. He just didn't feel comfortable enough to let it go. Loses his shoe. And then Caleb Jones comes back. Watch number 3 here. Just blow by the safety. He just didn't feel comfortable planning and letting it go with the pressure that was at his feet.
I think everybody, over 80,000 fans here in the stadium, a little stunned with the offense so far. Gabriel that time knocked away. Blanket coverage on Theo Weiss, the intended target. First time he's been targeted. DJ Miller says, I'm there.
That would have been his fourth read in the progression. He gets to him, but it's a little too late because Weiss comes out of his break open, but by the time the ball is delivered, defensive back Miller is right there on the spot to knock it away.
Another 3rd and long for Oklahoma. 3rd down and 17. Sooners 0 for 3 on 3rd down today. Gabriel, 5 in the pattern. From the pocket, rifles it complete, but immediately knocked down J.J. Hester. All right, what do you do here, Ryan Leaf?
Well, I suspect that they're going to go for it once again, but tough start for Marcus Freeman here.
On 1st down, nowhere to go. Dragged backwards on the wall of Jalen Redmond.
I will say what will make these Sooners fans happy is that they have this defense, right? This defense is going to shut down anybody they play. They're exceptional at what they do. Just a matter of getting into that fluidity on offense. When they do, they're potent.
4 tackles for loss already for this Oklahoma defense. They'll be pinning their ears back here on 2nd and 13. Schlee out of the gun. Corrals the high snap. Takes it himself toward the edge and shoved out of bounds at about the 11-yard line by Jaden Davis.
Again, just option here. Reads the defensive end, pulls the ball, and then takes off. If the wide receiver would have been able to get the block on Billy Bowman there, it might have been for a bigger play.
So the first play of the 2nd quarter will be a 3rd and 7 for Kent State. Kind of a surprising score through the first. On a 3rd and 7. And getting 1st down yardage. Brilliant run by Colin Schlee. And right now, that man, Brent Venables, has to be concerned about what he's seen thus far. Defense strong, Ryan. The offense has sputtered.
When you struggle offensively, the crowd doesn't get a chance to get into the game, and then Kent State starts to gain a little confidence, and Colin Schlee right there is just magnificent carrying the rock and picks up a 1st down.
Colin Schlee is going to, without a doubt, be one of the best quarterbacks in the MAC this season. He was under-recruited coming out of high school. He was just kind of scrawny, and he was a big-time baseball prospect. And that man, Sean Lewis, came in and said, no, son, I see a role for you as a quarterback. If you stay with it, he stuck behind Dustin Fromm, 2-time MAC Player of the Year, waited his turn, didn't go to the portal. Now they're going to fake the Wildcat and again go back with Schlee in the gun. 2nd time they've done that razzle-dazzle. Schlee tosses in the flat, caught, and past the 30 out to the 32-yard line. Raymond James, well-developed play, will move the chains for Kent State.
Incredible job here by Schlee. Watch this. It's a triple option. He pulls it. Now he's got an option to pitch it, but now the pitch man is a wide receiver. He just simply tosses it out there like it's no problem to his wide receiver to pick up the 1st down.
And Sean Lewis's offense has been setting all kinds of marks in the MAC conference. Schlee, boy, does he move well. Schlee with a penalty flag, tight ropes the sideline, out of bounds at the 45-yard line. We'll see what the laundry's all about.
Well, it's going to be a free play, and if he would have noticed that, he would have maybe taken a shot down the field. But again, right over the football. I talked about the crowd noise. There really isn't any, right? This is an 80,000.
That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a 1st down. Timeout for an injured player.
80,000 plus. Pretty quiet. Now, this is the 3rd time we've seen guys jump off sides for Oklahoma. That means that Kent State's they're allowed to really use a hard count, and they've jumped on to jump a few times right in front of the football.
Is it me, or does this game almost have a week 1 feel to it, where you're still working out the kinks, maybe a little sloppiness, but this is the 2nd week of the season.
This is looking a lot like the LA Rams the other night against Buffalo, right? And really sputtered out the gate. They didn't play it all in the preseason. We're watching it play out here, you know. Sooners fans got to be thinking, come on, let's get a turnover. Let's make something happen. And it might have to be on the defense's shoulders early to get this thing rolling.
1st and 10 from the 45-yard line for Colin Schlee in this Kent State offense. Neither team has taken a visit to the red zone so far. Just getting into plus territory has been a challenge. But Kent State's got a chance to do that here. Just 5 yards away from midfield. Schlee, handoff, stuffed. Dropped for a loss. Reggie Grimes, another tackle for loss, a loss of 3.
Incredible job by Reggie Grimes. Watch him just read down the side, shed the block from the pulling guard, and just consume Marquez Cooper for the tackle for loss.
Grandma Barbara watching, no doubt, enjoyed that play as well. 2nd down, 13. Play clock down to 5. Schlee spins and missiles one over the middle, incomplete. Intended for Floria. Luke Floria, his first target of the day.
This is very interesting here. I don't know if this was in the play or not, but if you watch the quarterback there, he pulled like a little 360, little pirouette, and then fires one over the middle. I mean, that's an example of his arm strength, right? I mean, I don't know if you had to fire it in that hard for a short pass like that, but clearly he has the intangibles, and Coach Sean Lewis spoke highly of him pregame with me when I was on the field.
A 3rd and 13. Oklahoma dials up the blitz. Schlee, another spin move. Schlee buys time, rifles one. Oh my goodness, on target at the 35. That is an NFL throw.
That is arm strength, that is confidence, that is believing also in Marquez Cooper, the running back we talked about, who's an every down player. Watch this. He bails out, gets away with his speed, and rolling to his left, sidearms it perfectly to his running back. That is what Sean Lewis was talking to me about, the throws that he can make from all angles, right? They grow up now watching the likes of the no-look passes.
Pat Mahomes.
And those types of things. So they emulate it, and they get really good at it at a young age.
Trying to set the edge, then cuts it up the hash. Marquez Cooper, Billy Bowman, racks up another tackle for Oklahoma. You know, this was an offense. Kent State, there are 130 Division I teams. They were 130th when Sean Lewis took the job over. So they have had a complete transformation on that side of the football.
Well, people told him, don't take the job.
Flat out. We asked him that. He said, everybody told me don't take the job. They haven't won a conference championship in 50 years.
He wasn't listening. He felt like that he could make a difference in young kids' lives and be explosive offensively.
Good crease that time behind the right side of the line on 2nd and 4 for Cooper. Woody Washington on the stop for Oklahoma.
Wonderful job of being patient here. Watch him be patient. And then when he decides to hit the hole, he puts his foot in the ground, explodes to the 2nd level.
Best drive of the day for either team. This will be the 12th play of the drive. Schlee gets it right into the belly of Cooper, who plows ahead. Might have squeezed out a yard. It'll be 2nd and long.
When you look at Marquez Cooper there, right, the 5'7".
Oklahoma, number 8, lost his helmet during the play, must sit out for 1 down.
5'7", 190-pound running back. Just get enveloped, right, by Jeffrey Johnson. 6'2", 305-pound defensive tackle there. He just disappears on the tackle as he hits the ground.
That was Laulu, by the way, who lost his helmet. He'll have to sit out the play here, the defensive end for Oklahoma. 2nd down and 9. Schlee out of the gun. He's looking to run. Schlee weaving and lowers the shoulders, staggers forward to the 16-yard line. Stutzman on the stop for Oklahoma. Now, you don't know how many opportunities like this you're going to have if you're Kent State, so while 3 would be nice, you really want to see if you can find pay dirt.
Well, we know how these games go. You're not going to win this game by kicking field goals. Right. So that mindset has to be in Sean Lewis's mind when he's making the decision to call this play. So look for it to maybe be in the running game to maybe pick up 1 or 2, knowing you're going to go for it on 4th down.
Oklahoma's had 14 plays this whole game. This is the 14th play of the drive. A 3rd and short. Oklahoma smothering defense. A loss. It's Stutzman again. Cooper had nowhere to go, and it'll be 4th and long, and that'll make that decision easy.
Didn't really like the outside play call. Now, Oklahoma does a great job of pushing it east and west rather than north and south, and they're able with their speed to run it down, and Stutzman once again makes a big tackle.
Andrew Glass is the kicker. This will be from 37 yards on the left hash. Snap and hold are true. Kick is on the way, and it is perfect. So a lengthy drive. In a hotel, you still had study group every day, 1 to 5. Not sacrificing the life of a student athlete, but coaching staff was pretty adamant about the fact they think it was a positive to be together on the road that long. Bowman on the return, lasso down at the 13, a violent hit. And it will not be very good field position for Oklahoma.
So nothing's confusing them right now. They've been very good on the defensive side of the football.
Gabriel, the lefty, lasers that one in, and that'll be a first down. Second effort. That is Daniel Parker. First time we've called his name today, the transfer from Missouri. And remember, he missed the first game. As the coaching staff described it, he missed it due to the sniffles.
This day and age, you got to be careful of those sniffles.
Stuffed on first down, that time modest gain for Javante Barnes.
Defensive coordinator Jeremiah Johnson. He talked to us about what they need to do. Of course, they had to limit the explosive plays, right? And one of the things that I really like to hear from them, keep them in front of them. He even acknowledged that if they're even, it's over. Not even if they're past them. If they're just even, they're leaving, and that's a bad sign. So they're going to keep everything in front of them and try to get them to the ground.
Feels like it's about time for a big play from Marvin Mims. Instead, they'll keep it on the ground. Second effort, banging his way ahead. Javante Barnes, talented freshman out of Las Vegas, Nevada. They'll gobble up 3. It'll be 3rd down and 4.
Impressed with this Kent State defense, how they're staying physical, how they're getting guys on the ground and only allowing short yardage pickups.
Gabriel shuffles and rifles one complete at the 37. Second effort, dragging defenders is Daniel Parker all the way to the 40-yard line. First down brought to you by Paycom. With Paycom, employees do their own payroll. You heard it right. Learn more at paycom.com. On first down, Gabriel, penalty flags on the play, and Gabriel will stagger back to the line of scrimmage. C.J. West was breathing down his neck, and he's down on the ground. Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah. That's all that needs to be said.
That's all. It's a collective wince here in the booth. Meanwhile, I see 2 penalty flags. I see one near the Oklahoma 40 and the other one near the Kent State 40.
There are 2 fouls on the defense. Offside, number 34. That penalty is declined. Substitution infraction, 12 players. 5-yard penalty will be enforced. First down.
All right, so Oklahoma catches a break. We haven't had too many penalties. Been a rather clean first half thus far, but there's the infraction on the substitution.
When you try to make a substitution, when you got a team that goes fast with tempo, you get caught, and that's exactly what happened there. So you had the 12 on the field, and then of course the guy running off the field was offsides because he was on the other side of the line of scrimmage as he was running off the field, not in time. It gives him a quick 5 yards to set up a very big play opportunity time, 1st and 5.
We know what the advantages are running up tempo, but as a former quarterback, is there anything that you found more challenging with up tempo that maybe you missed out on without spending more time?
Sometimes I wanted to fully understand what I was going to get defensively, and when you're going up tempo like that, you make them commit really to what they're doing. So you, as a quarterback, you love it.
Again, Oklahoma's ground game has been completely held in check. Before that last play, 6 rushing yards in the half. It's not as if it's not for a lack of trying. They've run several run plays, but they have not found a whole lot of creases. On second down, back to the ground, and again, nothing there. Javante Barnes is bottled up. It'll be 3rd down and 4. 13 rushes for 7 yards right now for the Sooners.
And you know who's up at the line of scrimmage almost all game so far? DJ Miller, right? A corner playing in a nickel kind of position has really made an impact. Watch him way up here at the line of scrimmage. He just explodes right there, dives underneath the big left tackle and makes the play.
On 3rd down, clean pocket. Gabriel broken up on the play. Intended for Jalil Farouk, who caught a pass last week, but terrific coverage. That's their best cover corner, number 21, Montre Miller. We've been bragging about Michael Turk, but we didn't think we'd see him this often in the first half. One of the top punters in college football. And he misfires on this one. Bad punt off the side of his foot. It'll be decent field position for Kent State.
On the sideline, yeah, that's a catch. Mr. Schlee, keep it going.
Yeah, that's the throw of the game. And really the passing game advantage today has gone to Kent State. Brian Bradford picking up 1st down yardage on that play. Colin Schlee has been smooth, battle tested. Again, a road trip last week against Washington. There you see the screen set up for Brian Bradford. 1st down yardage, 5 minutes remaining in that first half. A 3-0 game. Kent State's going to take on Georgia in a couple weeks. They've got maybe the most brutal non-con schedule in all of college football. Stonewalled that time was Brian Bradford. Jordan Kelly and Jalen Redmond bottled them up.
The game plan offensively, what Sean Lewis and his staff have put together of taking their time, using the up-tempo to make sure they're seeing a lot of the similar looks on defense, but then finding the play you want to be in. Here's another example of looking like they're lining up in the Wildcat, put Schlee out at the wide receiver position, and now they'll move back again. This is the 3rd time they've done that. Well, Oklahoma isn't really reacting to it too much, maybe knowing they're going to bounce back into it.
And every time Schlee winds up taking the snap, immediately hands off to Bradford, tripped up by Billy Bowman, who racks up another tackle after a gain of 5. And this is what we were talking about. I mean, you can design your schedule in a myriad of ways, but at Washington, at Oklahoma, at Georgia, I mean, that is murderer's row out of conference, but a lot of people think this Kent State team will be in the MAC championship game.
Well, Coach Lewis talked to us about the life lessons learned by playing this type of schedule, the adversity you have to overcome, because no one expects you to be in these games. And look right now, this is exactly what they're playing the game for.
On a 3rd and 5, Schlee on a keeper, wiggling. Schlee makes something out of nothing, breaks another tackle at the 45, and angles out of bounds at the 35-yard line. Holy smokes, Colin Schlee's got some wheels.
Watch him here. He almost gets tackled in the backfield and then slides through, breaks another tackle, makes number 4 miss, and then is off and running. The speed, I think, is surprising a lot of people watching the game, and in particular, this Oklahoma defense.
A 17-yard gallop, and Kent State in plus territory.
91-7 is the disparity in rushing yards.
That might be the most surprising stat in this game. Almost a gift pick that time. Oh my goodness. That was thrown right at Ethan Downs, the defensive end.
As a quarterback, you never really take into consideration when you have a defensive lineman, in particular the end, drops back into coverage. Now, Colin Schlee had probably never seen that type of zone drop right there, so of course he wasn't looking, and you can't expect a guy like Ethan Downs, who doesn't use his hands to catch the football, to pull it in, but great job of knocking it down.
A 2nd and 10. Schlee straight ahead running. Bradford stopped for a loss. Isaiah Coe, big number 94, plugging up the middle. It'll be a loss of 1.
Here comes 605 pounds of defensive front, taking the young running back down to the ground for a loss. I did quick math there.
I like that. Was good.
Yeah.
How about this for Matt? 7 tackles for loss for the Oklahoma defense. And this will set up a 3rd down and 11. Trips to the near side with Schlee out of the shotgun.
He can use his eyes. He's got a one-on-one matchup to the top of your screen.
And a timeout called by Kent Raiders. On 3rd and long. Shotgun snap. Pass complete near the 30. Wiggling. And second effort by Dante Cephas. That is why they believe he is going to be an NFL wideout in the very near future.
I was a little skeptical of him going back inside there because it looked like he had some opening to the outside, but he makes it work and gets it by a few inches.
Drive continues. Fresh set of downs. Schlee, not this time. Buried in the backfield. Danny Stutzman has had a terrific first half, a loss of 2.
Stutzman's a great name for a linebacker.
Isn't it?
It just is.
Stutzman.
He just stops people in their tracks right there for another tackle for loss.
Kind of use it as a verb. He got Stutzman.
Oklahoma has called their first timeout of the half. 30-second timeout. Timer, please reset the game clock to 1:23. 1:23.
We've talked a lot about Sean Lewis in this first half and what he has brought to the table at Kent State. This is before the game, getting everybody hyped up and loose and ready to go. I mean, again, they're playing with house money, right? Nobody expects Kent State to come into Norman and have a chance of winning this game. Going around, we're talking about a former tight end for Wisconsin. So he's not a finesse guy, even though he's an offensive mastermind. He's got some toughness behind that beard and bald dome.
You know, we sat down around the 40-yard line talking before the game, and he looked at me and he said, "How great is this?"
Yeah.
To be in this atmosphere.
Oh, yeah.
He loves what he gets to do. I told him I love what I get to do. I get to go to these great college cathedrals every single week and call football games, and we both were like sitting in a lot of gratitude together, and clearly his team is showcasing that.
His team is playing well, and you're talking about one of the best home field advantages in all of college football, Memorial Stadium. 29 of the last 30 contests here,
Oklahoma has called their second charge timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
Defense behind it.
That play had no chance. Trying to set up looked like a little bubble screen. Oklahoma had players all around Devontae Walker, including number 9, DJ Graham. So the drive will stall and another field goal attempt.
Wonderful recognition here. He's almost right there in the backfield, making the tackle as the ball is being thrown to Devontae Walker.
Last hit from 37 earlier. This will be from 41. Again from the left hash. And wide left, not this time. Glass can't convert the second time. The drive will result in 0 points.
Could really be, a flip of the scoreboard if they're able to be successful offensively.
Hey, you'd like to get something positive. I mean, 77 total yards in this first half. I'll add on to the total as Eric Gray catches it out of the backfield. 6 yards, 2nd and 4. Quickly lining up for second down. Gabriel from the pocket. Slings one complete at the 37, banging bodies at the 40 and down to the 43-yard line. That is Theo Weiss.
Would have liked to see him get out of bounds there, simply just to stop the clock. It stops after the first down, I get it. Gets out of bounds, he would have had a little more time.
Empty backfield, 5 wide. And a penalty drops.
Running back getting out to line up in the spread formation, didn't get set before the snap.
Does that drive you crazy as a quarterback? Because this is a frantic mode. You don't have time for penalties right now.
Well, if you get out of bounds there on that play too, you don't have to worry about this because you don't have to rush.
Start offense. Not all 11 players were set at the snap. Oklahoma has elected to take a timeout to avoid a 10-second runoff. 30-second timeout.
That's a double whammy. You have to burn a timeout to preserve the precious seconds that are left. 36 instead of it would have been a 10-second runoff in 26.
When you're a young wide receiver and you're going through the 2-minute.
That is Oklahoma's third and final timeout of the half.
All right. That is their third and final timeout. Your screen you were watching showed that there was still 2 timeouts left for Oklahoma. Now they're out of them. Now, not to harp on what could have been there, right? If he gets out of bounds,
right,
clock stops around 48 seconds. Then they don't have to rush to the line of scrimmage to set up the next play, and instead have a false start penalty, and then ultimately have to burn a timeout instead of taking the 10-second runoff. They've really kind of shot themselves in the foot all first half, and it's something that Jeff Lebby and this team is going to have a come-to-Jesus talk in the locker room, so we don't see it showcased in the second half.
Yeah, it could be a very spirited conversation at halftime. That ball's right on target at midfield, and that is Marvin Mims, who's been rather quiet, but that's your go-to guy. That's your biggest deep threat and your best overall threat in the passing game.
And if you're going to watch Marvin Mims have a defensive back sitting 10, 12 yards back, take that all day.
Second and short. Gabriel will do just that. You read that one, Ryan. Marvin Mims with a big cushion. They take advantage.
I mean, if you're a corner, you've been so aggressive all game long. Here, Dillon Gabriel just does the same thing. Mims runs out there 10, 12 yards, turns around, steps out of bounds, and stops the clock.
26 seconds left. Gabriel looks left now, going deep down the sideline. Touchdown! Marvin Mims! 36-yard score, and Oklahoma's on the board. When we asked the coaching staff, Ryan, what do you like most about Marvin Mims' top end speed? Those 3 words on display right there.
Definitely. And Dillon Gabriel did a tremendous job with his eyes, holding that safety that allowed that top end speed of Mims to find that little gap between the cover 2 corner and the safety.
It was one of the quickest drives of the first half for Oklahoma, and certainly the most successful. A 5-play, 76-yard touchdown drive. The extra point hammered home by Zach Schmidt. That 76-yard drive took 52 seconds off the clock.
They're explosive, and they know they can score that fast. It's just a matter of being able to execute. Watch his eyes. Does a tremendous job, looks back over the middle, holds that safety, and is able to find that pocket right down the left side. Too late for the defensive back to get over that. JoJo Evans couldn't get there. He was swayed by Gabriel's eyes. Wonderful job by the quarterback, dictating where and when he could throw the football.
Sooner Schooner getting some work finally after the score. The drive summary brought to you by Fowler Auto Group. Being friendly, helpful, honest, and fair. This is what drives us. 5 plays, 76 yards. The story on the drive, Dillon Gabriel looked sharp. 5 for 5 and 81 yards.
You know, that's the response. When I just talked about you need to roll up and get in front of Mims and not allow him just to run down 12 yards. Well, you do that. They run the play that allows Mims to go straight down the football field. That safety's got to be deeper. And just what Coach talked to us about, when you're even, you're losing, and that's what happened there.
Fielded at the goal line. Cooper dropped it, scooped it up. And now reversing field at the 15 and is finally stacked up at the 16-yard line with 10 seconds remaining in half number 1.
Drastic shift, right? Brent Venables got to be very pleased with that, and I know these players are going to feel a little bit more warmth as they head to the locker room, knowing they're going to get the ball in the second half.
Well, let's remember, it's a new head coach, it's a new coordinator, it's a new quarterback, new wide receivers. They also lost their top tailback, Kennedy Brooks, who ran for over 3,300 yards. So there's a lot of things that are still getting acclimated here in Normal.
Yeah, and it's kind of what we talked about in the open, right? The fear of the unknown. You don't quite know what it's going to look like, and you have to be patient and understand they're going to figure it out because all of these coaches are exceptionally good.
Yeah, not a finished product by any means for Coach Lebby and this offense, as Kent State will keep it conservative. A good half for the Golden Flashes, a good finish for the Sooners. with that 76-yard drive, taking all of 52 seconds to get Oklahoma on the board. And a reminder, Oklahoma will get the ball first in the second half. The touchdown pass from 36 yards out. Kent State predicted to be in the MAC championship game, trying to pick up where they left off. Oklahoma looking for a big play on special teams, getting to the boundary, out of bounds past the 30 is Billy Bowman, and he used some of his electricity.
It's the decision making, but now they've just got to finish.
At third down, Kent State was 6 for 11. Oklahoma 1 for 6 on third down. On first down, it's a missile complete to Marvin Mims. Marvin Mims, the highly decorated prep star out of Lone Star High School in Frisco, Texas, poised to have another big year in the Big 12.
And they're just taking what they give him right now. Marvin Mims is running out to about 5 or 6 yards or wherever the defensive back is, and Dylan Gabriel's been right on the spot with him.
Gabriel with time, deep shot down the sideline. Mims got tangled up, all kinds of contact, and there is the flag at around the 10-yard line. JoJo Evans might have gotten away with the first infraction, but not the second.
When you match up one-on-one like that, and you allow that much time for Dylan Gabriel.
Pass interference, defense number 23, 15-yard penalty enforced from the previous spot, automatic first down.
And when you don't get your head around to see where the ball is, you're most likely going to run it. And if you're a good wide receiver like Mims has been able to, his ability to come back through the body, right, that allows the penalty to be called much easier by the official.
Gabriel, quick pass into the flat, caught at the 45. That's Drake Stoops. And if the last name sounds familiar, of course, the son of the legendary head coach Bob Stoops. Stoops had 2 grabs last week in the victory over UTEP. That one goes for 5. Second down. Behind the left side of the line, first down yardage for Eric Gray. Eric Gray, who was a Jeremy Pruitt recruit at Tennessee, winds up transferring to Oklahoma. And the first down is brought to you by Paycom. With Paycom, employees do their own payroll. You heard it right. Learn more at paycom.com. Quick snap on first down. Another pass complete. Another reception for Drake Stoops, the senior out of Norman.
Wonderful route here, perfectly thrown ball, and watch him keep continuing to come back to the ball. That's what a receiver has to do for your quarterback, because it doesn't allow for Wheezy Richardson to come through his body.
Gray grinds his way for a few more behind the right side of that offensive line. Oklahoma picking up where they left off on the last drive of the first half. First drive of the second half looking good. Again, the ground game. And that time Gray taken down after a gain of a couple. Nico Bolden on the stop for Kent State.
I'm really impressed with these safeties for the Golden Flashes and their ability to come downhill. And watch him meet him in the hole and just absolutely decleat him onto the ground.
Second and 8. Again, it's going to be Major breaking a tackle at the 10, and he'll skip into the end zone. Touchdown, Oklahoma from 16 yards out.
What a move to go lateral. Make a guy miss and then jaunt into the end zone.
Seven-play, 68-yard drive, and that only took 2 minutes and 13 seconds. Schmidt hammers home the extra point. It's a 14-3 ball game. Touchdown drive back to back. The Oklahoma offense has gotten its wake-up call.
You'd say it was a matter of time.
Display. I know the scoreboard doesn't indicate it, only 3 points, but he was terrific in the first 30 minutes. Losing his footing is Marquez Cooper, their top running back. Marquez Cooper, the junior, out of the state of Maryland, squeezes out a couple yards. It'll be second and 8.
This is the fourth time they've done this tonight where they've lined up in Wildcat.
And they're actually going to go through with it this time or not? What's behind door number 3? Not. High snap to Schlee. Keeps it. Looking to run. Now throws late and hits his target at the 38. Penalty flag flies. Down to the 44 is Raymond James. If it stands, it's a first down and a gain of 15.
Yeah, it's going to be offensive linemen downfield. Waiting that long to get rid of the ball. Some of those guys can start just grazing a little bit down the football field.
Ineligible receiver downfield. Offense number 65. 5-yard penalty enforced from the previous spot. Second down.
Well, you used to be able to get away with that a lot more in college football until enough defensive coordinators said, no, call this.
Well, I think when you run in an RPO and when the game changed to that, defensive coordinators had to have that put in place.
Right.
Otherwise, they just would be at such a
indefensible.
Such a disadvantage.
Yeah. Second and 13 as they're backed up after the penalty to the 22-yard line. Man in motion is James. Fake the handoff, throw over the middle, complete. At the 35-yard line, Devontae Walker. Ball comes out late. And Oklahoma's got it. Fumble recovery by Billy Bowman, the sophomore from Denton, Texas, who is quickly becoming one of the best safeties in this league.
Not only has he been a great cover guy, but this is a perfect example of when the ball is thrown, rallying, and when a guy is under the control of one of your teammates, just ripping it out. And that's exactly what happened here, and he gets the recoveries. Perfect example, good job of holding the football, putting it right on the money. But watch Billy Bowman make the tackle. As soon as he knows he isn't going anywhere, he just rips it from the arms of the receiver and recovers it himself.
Just pick the pocket right there. You hold up the receiver long enough, strip it away. Oklahoma, let's see if they go for the kill shot on first down. Nothing open downfield. Little swing pass to Major. And Major accelerates down the sideline to the 22-yard line of first down. How about the day for Bowman? 10 tackles now to go along with that forced fumble.
He's been a force all game from his safety position.
Had 9 tackles a week ago. Gabriel tries to thread the needle that time to his tight end, Braden Willis. They haven't been able to hit the tight ends. Willis and Parker have been pretty much held in check so far in this first half. It's basically been the Marvin Mims show in the passing game. Hand off, right side, big hole, past the 15, and popped and dropped at the 11-yard line as Marcus Major, a gain of 12.
Officials timeout for an injured player.
The offensive line had to have been challenged at halftime, really opening up a big hole for Major to get the first down. Chopped up a little bit. See how they respond.
Under 11 minutes to go, third quarter. Gabriel, shake and bake. Nifty move, but not much there. Stumbles down to the 11-yard line. No gain on the play.
Oklahoma, number 71, lost his helmet during the play. He must go out for one down.
And that is the aforementioned Anton Harrison.
Zone read here. Keeps the ball, tries to make a guy miss. He certainly does that, but quickly on top of him is Pierre and Johns.
It's a 27th career start for Gabriel. There's that one in the flat to Mims. Gabriel at UCF, 72 career touchdown passes. That's the third highest total of any active quarterback this year in college football. Another quarterback from the state of Hawaii, which has become quite a feeder for top-rated quarterbacks out of the prep ranks here of late. Gabriel, Coxon fires, complete at the 10. And shoved out of bounds inside the 5. That's Theo Weiss. Weiss, 5-star receiver out of high school out of Allen, Texas, but he missed almost all of last year with a foot injury. Fourth down. They're going, Ryan.
They jump off sides.
False start. Offense, number 71. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
You know, one of the things Brent Venables told us is that we need to clean some things up around here. This is the kind of play they're talking about, right?
Right. When a defender decides to stem like that, that's the hope. You get an offensive lineman to react. Exactly what happens. Antoine Harrison, who you're talking about just a little while earlier, makes the decision easier for Brent Venables now.
Brent Venables is definitely an attention to detail kind of guy. This will be a 25-yard chip shot, and that'll split the uprights off the right foot of Zach Schmidt. Norman, offense heating up after a cold start, particularly in the first half. And look at those first 4 drives. Punt, 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 punt. Couldn't get anything going on the ground whatsoever. And then the last drive of the first half, where they really had to go hurry up, they just marched right down the field, 5 plays, 76 yards. They have not looked back since. 3 consecutive scoring drives, accounting for Oklahoma's 17 points. And
as we've seen today, only 3 first down conversions on 3rd down.
I wonder if we see a deep shot at some point to Dante Cephas. He's their game breaker. Instead, they'll go underneath, and that'll be Cooper. Plenty of wiggle in his game. Stutzman on the stop, but not before a gain of 11.
It's going to be a lot of good that Sean Lewis can take from this game, the way they competed and how they battled, especially when Oklahoma hit them in the mouth here in the second half.
I'll tell you, I had Northern Illinois in the bowl game last year, the Cure Bowl in Orlando. Northern Illinois is predicted to win the MAC. Kent State's predicted to win the East. Ooh, that's a tough shot. Cooper runs into some equipment there out of bounds. Billy Bowman was there to escort him there, but I'm still, no matter how this score winds up, I'm impressed to the point where you and I have done some MAC games over the years. If there's a better offense in the MAC, I don't know who it is.
Good stiff arm gets shoved right into the communications.
That'll leave a mark. But can't you see this team just lighten up scoreboards in the MAC this year?
I really can.
I mean, look at that arm from Schlee. It is impressive. That's another frozen rope, and there is the playmaking receiver, Dante Cephas. They call him the Slim Reaper because when he got to campus, he was extremely skinny out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Look at his eyes. Way to take a safety away with his eyes. Keeps that safety away from getting underneath the route. He puts it right on the money.
Last time Kent State had a wide receiver drafted, it was Julian Edelman in 09. He was the quarterback at Kent State, but they saw potential in him being a wideout, and that worked out pretty well for New England. Schlee hands it off. And again, a steady dose of Marquez Cooper.
Going back to the Julian Edelman draft, right? I mean, Bill Belichick, he drafts athletes a lot of time, right? And when you go and draft a guy like that, he certainly wasn't going to replace Tom Brady as a quarterback. They found a way for him, and he started out with special teams and became ultimately one of the best wide receivers that New England had had.
Yeah, pretty clutch guy in the playoffs, too. Loss of a yard makes it 2nd down and 11. Schlee with pressure, somehow evades it, and finally goes down. Sack. Who else? Danny Stutzman, who has been terrific through the first 2 games of the season.
They bring a blitz, and he's able to step away from it, but Stutzman, who was stopped in the line of scrimmage, just follows him down and rips him to the ground.
Sophomore out of Windermere, Florida, 6'4", 240, Danny Stutzman. Kent State's been good on 3rd down, 6 for 11, but this will be a tall task, 3rd and 16.
It's the loudest we've heard the crowd all night.
I know, they've come alive here in the second half, and that might have caused an issue as the play clock hits 0.
Play of game. Offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
They have won 92% of their games at this stadium since 1999. That's the start of the Bob Stoops era, and that's the start of Oklahoma's dominance. Great tradition. Wilkinson, Switzer, Stoops. Brent Venables hopes to be the latest in the long line of Hall of Fame coaches with this program. Incomplete at the 45. That one was flat out dropped by Raymond James.
A little anticipatory. He tries to take off and run before the ball actually gets to his body. I don't know if it would have made much of a difference being so far behind the sticks here.
Now, Oklahoma's defense comes through. Oklahoma's offense has scored on its last 3 possessions. Mims back to receive the punt from Josh Smith. Rugby style, fielded at the 14 on a fair catch. There's a penalty flag all the way back at the 40. Do we have a roughing the punter here?
I don't think so, because they did a little rugby run out to the right, and the flag is over here on the left. I think there might have been a hold.
Our 2 tickets to the gun show referee will alert us of the call here in just a moment.
Equipment violation on the offense. There were 2 number 31s on the play. That 5-yard penalty will be added at the end of the kick.
Well, in case you were wondering how windy it's gotten, you got a good listen to it there with our referee microphone. Here's a look at that Oklahoma program history we were just alluding to. 7 national championships, 31 bowl championships, 50 conference titles, 14 of the Big 12, 7 Heisman Trophy winners, including a couple of recent quarterbacks. And of course, it won't be too long before Oklahoma will be battling for SEC championships. And that's something we chatted with Brent Venables about. He really believes, first off, that was part of what was enticing about this job. There was plenty of things already, but that, the ability to sell recruits on the future of playing in the SEC, it only helps this program's profile.
And I think he loves the challenge.
Yeah.
Personal foul, low block, defense number 31. That 15-yard penalty will be added at the end of the run. First down.
Yeah, and let's look. Brent Venables, when he was at Clemson under Dabo Swinney, they played their fair share of SEC opponents. They had the upper hand against South Carolina every year during his tenure, and they played programs like Georgia and others.
Was on player 35.
Well, that would make sense because we didn't have a number. Actually, I don't see a 30. There we go. DJ Miller. Oh. Big run. Cut back at the 45. It's a foot race for Eric Gray. And finally lassoed down at the 20 by Nico Bolden.
Tackling in space is a huge part of this game. And when you get one-on-one situations like this, you have to get them on the ground. Watch him make and miss where he plants his foot in the ground and just goes. And then it's a foot race.
A former Tennessee Volunteer, Eric Gray, with the biggest run of the game for the Sooners tonight. 44 yards on that scoop.
You know, I kind of talked about it a little bit that Jeff Levy probably challenged this offensive line in terms of, you know, imposing their will, and they have to come out here in the 3rd quarter.
On second down, a little short toss by Gabriel. Shake and bake, Stoops, dives. Touchdown! What a play!
You guys want to see some good body control? Wait till you see what Drake Stoops does as he balances along the sideline here, making a guy miss to get into the end zone.
The son of Oklahoma's all-time coaching wins leader, Bob Stoops, Drake Stoops, with a beautiful catch and score.
Drake Stoops. Watch him make two guys miss and then absolutely with one shoe tiptoe his way down the sideline to get into the end zone.
First touchdown of the season. Key for Oklahoma in all these drives, no third downs. They haven't needed third down. That was the problem spot for Oklahoma. Everything seems better here in Norman once the sun dissipated. Good pass play, Schlee hitting the tight end, Chris Leach, his first grab into plus territory.
Incredible play design here by Sean Lewis. He fakes the handoff and allows the fullback to get out to the flat, and then no one was there to pick him up in man coverage. And away he went.
Schlee hands off. Getting to the boundary and knocked out of bounds at the 40-yard line. That's Bradford. Agwebu on the tackle. The middle linebacker for OU.
Good job of getting man on man. Maybe got away with a little hold there on Grimes, but stays on his feet to pick up the first down.
Pump fake. Scrambling. Somehow gets out of incredible danger and then pushes ahead for 9 yards. Josh Ellison on the stop, but what a play by Colin Schlee.
Incredibly impressive. Just the fact that he was able to get out of some of these tackles and pick up 9 yards. Stutzman, who's been all over the place, he makes him miss. And
back to the ground game. Good open field tackle. Bradford looked like he had an angle. Instead, it was Justin Broyles, the free safety, putting them down to the turf.
Good response drive here by Kent State to see how they can punctuate it. A touchdown would go a long ways for their confidence.
Trips to the left side for Schlee. Schlee, 9 of 16, 104 yards thus far. Gets the snap. And a straight ahead run by Bradford. Stutzman, how many tackles is that now for Danny Stutzman, who's having a whirlwind day so far? Had 9 stops last week, he's got 10 today.
Between him and Bowman, right?
Yeah.
Their ability to get up near the line of scrimmage, and he's just little eagle bruise there after missing out on Schlee. He's Johnny on the spot right there.
Second down and 7. High snap, handoff between the tackles, banging bodies, and brought down to the 21 is Cooper. Who else? Stutzman will at least get an assist on that tackle. Jeffrey Johnson might have also been in on the stop for Oklahoma.
All right, we got 3rd and manageable, right where Kent State would like to be. They have the full disposal of their play calling here because most likely they'll go for it on 4th down if they don't pick it up. 1-on-1 at the top of your screen here.
Cooper, the lone back. They fake it to him, toss out in the flat, and just shy, I believe, to tight end Keenan Orr, his first reception.
He may score if he keeps him on his feet here with this throw. One of the few poor throws, or at least inaccurate throws that we've seen from Colin Schlee today.
Again, they fake the Wildcat, or do they? And then it's about 5 times now. Schlee has gotten a snap every time. But he won't get it here. Instead, it'll be Cooper, and Cooper is stopped dead in his tracks. Stutzman again. Danny Stutzman now with 12 tackles.
The outside linebacker just walked to the end of the line of scrimmage, kind of in a 9 technique, and just crashed down from the outside to make the big stop. Must be the Frosted Tips, really.
Was that your secret back in the day?
Let's not go there. Watch him just run down the line of scrimmage. There's no one blocking him, and he's just...
Of this game. Movement pre-snap.
Full start. Offense, number 73. 5-yard penalty. First down.
That's on the center, Andrew Rain. Let's say hello to Alex.
scoring drive for Oklahoma. Dillon Gabriel came over to the bench. He started shaking hands, high-fiving all of his teammates, saying that's how we do it. Earlier this week when I caught up with Braden Willis, he told me Gabriel has just been Mike.
Big catch over the middle by Weiss. That'll be a first down. Alex, go ahead. Continue your thought, please. Well, we'll keep going here. 21 yards. They're going to go up tempo. It's tough to get in many reports as fast as this offense is working right now. Speaking of fast, Marcus Major was fast on that run. 9 yards. Now we've got a chance to catch our breath and say hello to Alex.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, well, so Dillon Gabriel, according to Braden Willis, he says has just been the ultimate teammate right from the start. When he came on the campus, Mike.
Another deep ball caught by Mims. Touchdown, Oklahoma. 58 yards.
This is where Dillon Gabriel's patience pays off. He watched as the safety made a ill-advised decision to take the under route, and Mims just flies down the football field, perfectly thrown in stride for another touchdown.
That is the 14th career 40-yard or more reception in Mims' career. The all-time lead in Oklahoma history, CeeDee Lamb. Yeah, he was a good one. Now the Cowboys did it 24 times. Marvin Mims is going to cause havoc for Big 12 secondaries throughout this season. I think it's safe to say he's quickly become the favorite target of this man, Dillon Gabriel.
Good job looking up the safety, and then you'll see he's just running wide open down the field. He puts it perfectly in place in stride. Watch his eyes here. Quickly to his left and then right back to his right. No one near him. The safety on the right side here, he for some reason jumps the outside route and allows Mims to walk freely down the field. Sometimes when a guy's that wide open, especially at the quarterback position, it's really difficult to put it on him, right? Don't want to overthrow him.
Sure.
7 catches already tonight, 163 yards, and those 2 big touchdowns. One right before the half, followed up by the big explosive play. He's silky smooth in his delivery, and sometimes lefties really look labored when they're throwing the football, and he's been incredibly accurate tonight.
Schlee delivers a strike at the 40. Weaving his way near midfield is Dante Cephas, go-to target for Colin Schlee. So both primary wide receivers getting involved heavily.
The ability to run the football is huge, and when you're running this run-pass option, it just pulls those safeties and those linebackers down and gives you much more cleaner throwing lanes.
Pocket collapses, and so too does Colin Schlee. Heavy pursuit, Reggie Grimes, Ethan Downs converging on the sack. 11 total tackles for loss now for the Oklahoma defense.
Yeah, they've been living behind the line of scrimmage of Kent State tonight.
You know, we should mention too.
Officials timeout for an injured player.
And is Kelvin Gilliam, one of the nose tackles on this defense. Ted Roof, another huge pickup, long-time defensive coordinator. Great pickup for Brent Venables.
Watch here's Grimes is just relentless, right? He pulls the offensive lineman towards him and then rips by him to meet in the middle there with Ethan Downs, his partner on the edge. Assistant analyst last year with Clemson, and then when he left, he said, hey, you want to come along and call this defense with me?
36 years of experience on the side of Ted Roof. Another tackle for loss. Oh, Jalen Redmond got in there and was on the hunt.
One thing that I've noticed, this Oklahoma Sooners defense, they just flow towards the football so fast, right? They find a gap, and then they just explode through it and get guys on the ground. That's why they're able to get so many tackles for loss, because they get behind the line of scrimmage and are able to get them down to the ground.
And they have been swarming so far tonight, especially in this second half. When Kent State had some rhythm going on offense in that first half, had some sustained drives. Not so much here in the third quarter. And that's going to be the end of quarter number 3. Lou Holtz. Bob Stoops got his start at Kent State.
One season there, yeah.
Players like Jack Lambert, mentioned Julian Edelman, James Harrison. And again, they're celebrating the 50th anniversary of their MAC championship. Nick Saban was in the secondary for that squad. Mims from the 11. Look out. Mims, 30. Mims turns the corner and turns on the Jets before being shoved out of bounds by the kicker. Mims is probably still running on his way to pay dirt. The drive starts in plus territory. Little end around at that time. Gavin Freeman, who had a touchdown last week, is stifled for a minimal gain, if any. Freeman empties the backfield. On second down, we'll call it 9. Three-man rush. Over the middle and a drop. Braid and Willis, who had a big game a week ago with 2 touchdowns, would love to have that one back.
Looked just really uncomfortable with how he put his hands out there. But he led him by probably half a yard.
Now, as a quarterback, what do you tell him when he gets back in the huddle?
My bad. My bad.
Just the second incompletion out of the last 17 throws for Gabriel. That's one that probably should have been reeled in by Willis. Instead, it's 3rd down and 9. They play it conservative, right straight up the middle. It's Javante Barnes, the freshman. Oklahoma does not seem to be in any hurry to get off the field. 4th and 4, looks like they're going.
They're making it look like a cover 2 shell here down at the bottom of your screen. If that's where I want to go with the ball, then Jake Gibson might be a guy to pitch up about 15 yards at the bottom of your screen.
Meanwhile, the play clock hits 0.
Delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
I don't know, do they have any intention of snapping at it, or were they just trying to draw him off sides?
I think they were just trying to draw him off sides. I was too busy trying to figure out what I would like to do in that moment, you know?
I liked your play. I was waiting. I was looking at the bottom of the screen there, waiting for the play. We'll let Ryan, you send in the big play in the next drive.
All right, we'll try it out.
Michael Turk, I mentioned the 45.9 career average. The NCAA record is 46.3. Todd Sauerbrunn for him, West Virginia. He had a cannon of a load. This one will make a bounce and roll at about the 12-yard line. That's where Kent State will take over. We have a flag back at the 45-yard line.
There is no foul on the play. The action was determined to be legal. 1st down.
For a couple of years. And of course, I mentioned some of the prominent players, including the Hall of Fame linebacker Jack Lambert. But how about Bob Stoops? Remember, everybody's got to start somewhere. There's Bob coaching the inside linebackers back in 1988.
Everybody starts somewhere. You find that mentor. Somebody who carries you along. We talked about Sean Lewis and his ties with Dino Babers, Brent Venables. Bob Stoops was a big part of where he came from. Most likely Coach Snyder as well.
Bad snap. Schlee in trouble. Is it going to be a safety? No! Schlee somehow escapes and gets out of bounds at the 12-yard line. How in the world did he pull that off?
I do not know. It almost looks like he steps out of bounds here, but somehow, I believe, keeps his feet in play and then just explodes to get back out of the only thing he could do, right? Watch his right foot here. Yeah, that's what I thought I saw in real time. So that's going to be a safety after they take a look at it.
For a moment, I thought he was going to concede here. And then he said, let me try it.
Previous play is under further review to see if the quarterback stepped out of the end zone.
And you'll see it right there. Great camera work.
How is this official right there to the left of the screen? I mean, he's looking right at it. Right at it.
That right foot is clearly
to contribute.
After further review, it was determined that the quarterback stepped on the end line. The result of the play is a safety. It'll be timeout.
Here's first class, and it all starts with Joe Castiglione, who was kind enough to stop by the booth and say hello earlier in his 25th year, one of the top athletic directors in college football for a while now. I mean, people have been courting Brent Venables for years. He has said no time and time again, but finally this was the move that just felt right. We had many great years here with Coach Stoops, and he didn't have to think about it too long. This was the right move for him.
No, and he commented about when you find your why, right? He found it. He was fine with not having to answer questions, just go out, coach the defense, you know, get paid $1.5 million, $2.5 million eventually as a coordinator, to taking this on, because now he's the one who's accountable for everything that goes on with this program and what it looks like. And he's built the culture already in just a short tenure. What's happened to them, right? He has done such a great job that he's been so sought after everywhere he went.
13 conference titles, multiple national titles, and a lot of winning pedigree with this Oklahoma coaching staff. That is Tawee Walker with his first touch of the game. First down brought to you by Paycom. With Paycom, employees do their own payroll. Yeah, you heard that right. Learn more at paycom.com. Gabriel delivers a strike, and a nice job broken up at the last moment. It was intended for Jaden Gibson. A great job by that Kent State secondary, which has been tested a lot here of late.
Yeah, especially this second half. There's just another example of speed getting the better of you, but DJ Miller able to get his hand in there to knock it away.
Gibson in motion, and that will draw a penalty flag.
There is no foul on the play.
That's the second time we've had one of those. The old didn't really mean it.
That referee was pretty adamant when he ran in there throwing the flag, too. It's like,
yeah.
I saw something.
I'll tell you what I see. I see a lot of backups in the game for Oklahoma, both on the line, at receiver, and Walker the tailback, but Gabriel is still in the game. And a juke, now a spin, and he's dropped for a sack. Gabriel goes down for a loss. Shane Slattery, the linebacker, will get credit for the sack.
It may be a good time to find the backup some time here.
I was thinking the same thing. You know, it's one of those where you feel confident enough with a 30-point lead. The only other thing I can think of, though, is that, like we were talking about earlier, they're still learning each other. You know, a bunch of guys out here that haven't had a ton of reps together. You know, this will be the second game under the belt of Gabriel in an Oklahoma uniform.
And you're exactly right in terms of some of these backup wide receivers who may be called upon later in the year with injuries or things of that nature that are going to have that rhythm, that familiarity with one another. So
yeah, because you know it seems like obviously Gabriel and Mims, they're on the same page. All A-OK there, 2 thumbs up. But who's going to be your second guy, your third guy?
Well, we know that Drake Stoops on the inside is going to be a weapon.
Ouch! No fair catch, and paying the price as that stick was Raymond James on the return, and he got walloped by Trevin West. It's going to be the backup quarterback, Devin Cargman, now in the game for Kent State, so Colin Schlee will take the rest of the night off. Valiant effort by him. At times flashed some brilliance. Kent State's offense has really been stuck in neutral in this second half. Oklahoma's defense has just been smothering.
Yeah, I just think the depth, the speed have finally overwhelmed this team, who's been on the road for 10 days, the Pacific Northwest down here to the Oklahoma, Tulsa area.
Yeah. Nice scoot up the middle. And all the way out to the 39-yard line. That is Gavin Garcia. We're going deep into the depth chart now. Gavin Garcia at tailback. And for a lot of these young men for Kent State, a chance to say they played in front of 80,000 in Norman. A memory they will never forget for sure.
You always remember that first time stepping into a historic stadium, no matter where you play.
What was the favorite venue for you? Of course, you got to play in the Rose Bowl, but other than that, somebody's actual opposing stadium.
Yeah, we were scheduled to play Tennessee my freshman year, and I was redshirting, and it was going to be Peyton Manning's first start.
Oh.
And so I wanted to be there. I wanted to walk into, that stadium. I was told how impressive it was. My first year out, when I got a chance to play, we went down to Colorado and we played against a bus team that was ranked 5th in the country. And you walk into Boulder in that stadium, it was something I grew up watching, and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, this is real college football.
That's when Boulder was rocking. It's hard to, a lot of the young people watching right now are like, Colorado was good at football. Yeah, they were really good at football for a while.
Won a national championship,
yes.
Right? There was a team I wanted to play for, and they had the likes of Cordell Stewart and Coy Detmer at quarterback. And
yes.
I figured I was just never going to get my chance to play quarterback
right.
there.
Eric Bieniemy, Michael Westbrook, some of the skilled weapons. Eric Bieniemy, of course, now the offensive coordinator of the Kansas City Chiefs. Rashawn Salam, the running back for Colorado. That's what you marvel about this Oklahoma program. It's like you already know how good they've been, but then when you take a deep dive, as you and I do preparing for a game, and you look at nobody's won more games since World War II than Oklahoma. Winningest program in the 21st century, Oklahoma. They spit out 11, 12 win seasons like it's just anybody can do it, like no big deal. 7 Heisman Trophy winners. I mean, it's just nonstop success.
The consistency.
Yeah.
When expectations are high at all times.
Right.
That's the true nature of greatness, is when you're able to do that in the face of everybody saying that you're going to do that.
Mm-hmm. And with multiple coaches. I mean, I think when Bob Stoops retired, it was like, oh no, now what? Well, then Lincoln Riley comes in, does a terrific job. I have no doubt that Brent Venables is going to do a terrific job. But I mean, you see the 41 10-win seasons. Like a 10-win season is something you celebrate, you get a banner. They do it here like it's ho-hum.
Well, I think that you clearly understand and know now that like no one person is bigger than what the brand of Oklahoma football is.
Right. And it is a brand. I mean, Oklahoma's, that's why they're able to recruit nationally. Kids on this roster from all parts of the country. A 3rd and 8. And Oklahoma's defense gets a turnover. There's an interception. That is number 37, Justin Harrington. He plays that hybrid, that cheetah role, a 5th-year senior out of Raleigh, North Carolina.
Yeah, impressive to see the normal linebacking position of the cheetah drop into coverage, and then he was right there. Watch him just kind of bait the quarterback a little bit. He knew where the ball was going to go, and didn't catch it cleanly, but he does. If he catches it cleanly, he may be in the end zone for 6.
Yeah, it felt like a pick 6 before a little bit of that bobble there. Well, now the backup quarterback is in. Davis Bevel. Bevel actually a transfer for Pitt. He played 3 games last year, got a little bit of action in the bowl game, a victory over Oregon.
I was looking right at this when I was looking at the depth chart and talking to Coach Levy about it. It was 5'11" Dylan Gabriel, 6'6" Davis Bevel, right?
We've got a special visitor here in the booth we'll get to in just a second on 2nd down and 10. And that is Walker on the carry. Oh, now he's in and out. That's Bob Stoops just came by to say hello, shake a few hands, and then poof, just like that, he's gone.
Pick up the 5 yards on the play. Down to the 32-yard line.
Yeah, big game Bob, right? We go back quite a long time.
Was he bashful? Was he too shy to come on there?
I think, yeah, he saw me earlier and said he was going to stop by and say hi, and I was like, well, you know,
you come on,
you know, talk to us a little
Somebody
bit.
corral that man.
Maybe you still got some contract obligations with Fox.
There he is. Come on in. Get in here. I mean, it's not every day you got a Hall of Fame coach just hanging around. Come here, we go.
You know what it's like to put this headset on.
Great broadcast tonight. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Coach. How you feeling?
I'm great. Doing awesome.
Yeah.
Golf game's getting in order, you know. So all's well.
I know you and Brent obviously go way back, and he mentioned to us yesterday in our meetings that you guys still talk on a regular basis. But how excited were you to see him get another opportunity to come back to Norman as a head coach?
I loved it. Believe me, he's an absolute perfect fit to be here. Helped us build this program back from, you know, what Coach Switzer left and, you know, Coach Wilkinson back in the day. And Brent, he fits it perfect. I mean, he came in here with my brother Mike and Brent from Kansas State and a bunch of other guys, and we brought it back. And he knows what it takes, what this place is all about, and fits it perfectly.
Right.
And couldn't be happier. I love being around him. I travel through every once in a while, once or twice a week. I'm not doing much, but it's fun to see him and be around the team. And he got a great staff as well.
I tell you what, can you hang around? We got to take a quick timeout. We've got 5 minutes left. We'll keep you just for a couple more if we can. Bob Stoops in the house. Oklahoma in this second half, and really most of the Oklahoma today. 33-3 our score here with 5 and change to go in the fourth quarter. The man in the middle needs no introduction. Of course, legendary coach Bob Stoops. And you know, Bob, I think a lot of people see you around and they know you're still here, but what is the day-to-day like for Bob Stoops these days?
Longer workouts, a little more golf, a little more travel. It's all good. It's positive. I go by, watch practice a couple times a week. I love it, so I still show up once in a while, see the guys and see practice, and they're good enough to embrace me when I come by.
Well, they have to embrace you. You know, you get called. You were the righty last year to come in for the bowl game, and then when the coaching decision was made to go with Brent Venables, you had to have been one that was incredibly proud of who was taking over.
Absolutely. It was easy to help in the bowl game. Not like I had to move back from Florida or something. I was right here in town. You don't forget how to coach, and the players really embraced me. It was awesome. And then Brent coming in and filling, coming in fit so perfectly. You know,
we got a surprise for you. 1988. Look at that
my
guy.
My freshman picture at Iowa, probably.
It's Kent State?
Yeah, that was Kent State. My first full-time job. I was 28 years old, 1988. My parents never thought I'd get a job. I'm making about $18,000 as a outside linebacker DN coach. It was the best.
Well, I think, you know, most people
Dick Crum hired me. Great guy. Wonderful
I think
man.
most people just assume that when they see these big salaries that head coaches make, they don't know where they actually start and and the hard work that goes into it, being a GA to ultimately becoming a head coach.
Ryan, you're exactly right. I made nothing until 28 years old and finally got a full-time job, had my own players to coach, outside backers, again, making about $18,000, and I thought I had it made. I was just engaged and got married that summer. So I've been blessed, though. Dick Crum hired me, gave me a chance, and loved Kent. Kent was a great place. It was 45 minutes from my hometown of Youngstown, Ohio. So it was fun to be there for that 1 year.
I got it. Oh, we got to take one last time. Can you stay one more segment? All right, we are overstretching our boundaries here, but we'll take one home solution for plumbing, heating, air conditioning, and electrical. Make the winning call today. Oh my goodness, Drake Stoops. Where did he get these moves? Did his old man teach him that?
No, I was a DB. I just ran into people. I didn't avoid people like Drake does.
Watch him here. He loses his shoe and somehow stays balanced enough to get into the end zone.
He's got great hands, great effort, tough kid. I love him, of course.
Talk about a great night at the office. Oklahoma win, a great crowd, and your son is puts together the play of the game and a touchdown. I do, since we're on Sooner Vision and this great partnership now with ESPN and ESPN Plus, you of all people as a longtime coach know the value of television deals and networks and everything else. And just if you can't talk about how joyous everybody is around here about the relationship now with ESPN Plus.
It's been awesome. Love it that not just football, all our other sports are on there. Everybody loves following all the sports around here. We've got a great community, supports everything. And women's sports is, our softball team, our gymnastics team, they're like superstars.
Yeah.
So it's fun. And love the coaches. All of them are fantastic, and I watch all of it.
Consistency, I think we talked about it from the president down to the athletic director who's been here for almost 25 years. The consistency with that has seemed to keep everything running in place when there are things that seem to want to try to interrupt it.
Yeah, it's very true. Joe Castiglione, 25 or plus years. Joe Harris, our president now, that's come in just in the last couple of years, was our chief legal counsel the entire time I was here virtually. So anyway, we have a great continuity. We know how to do it. They did a great job hiring Brent Venables, and we're not going away. This is going to continue.
I do have to ask you one question I also asked Brent Venables. My introduction to Bob Stoops was the great job you did in Gainesville, defensive coordinator, helping lead Steve Spurrier to his national championship with the Florida Gators. That's an SEC school. We know it's going to happen. We don't know exactly when, but Oklahoma is going to be in the SEC. You know that league as well as you know this league. What does that mean for this program going forward?
It's fantastic. Obviously, there's a lot of big reasons why we made that move from our leadership standpoint, and it's positive. We can't wait. It's going to be fantastic having all of those teams come here to play as well. And listen, I get it. We may not win it every year like we won the Big 12 most years, but still, we'll win our share. And let's face it, right? We're no slouch either. I don't think there's a lot of teams in that league that are like, oh geez, oh this will be a walkover.
Right.
No, that's not happening. So we'll hold our own and understand it'll be a challenge. But obviously, if we're going and going to do that, we're looking forward to the challenge.
Yeah, I imagine you guys will be up to the challenge as you've been every other challenge. We can't thank you enough for taking out some time here on Sooner Vision. And again, we look forward to the partnership and look forward to Oklahoma football the rest of the year.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Ryan, love seeing you, buddy.
You too,
Stay after it.
One of the best, Bob Stoops, national championship coach, and still very much prominent around the Oklahoma program, and kind enough to take several moments of his time in what has actually turned out to be one heck of a night in more ways than one for him. Ryan, as the final seconds tick away here, how about some final thoughts on what we've seen here tonight?
Well, I think it's a perfect coaching opportunity for Brent Venables and the staff, right? To really take what they did in the first half and show them, hey, we can't have things like this happen, especially when you go and have to go play a rival like the Nebraska Cornhuskers a week in Lincoln. So I think it's a perfect game for this staff to attack what they need to attack to get better at and what they did really, really well.
Yeah, I think what's really exciting is that as we talk about everybody getting acclimated and getting on the same page on this offense, is there's a special connection brewing between Dillon Gabriel and Marvin Mims. They look like they've been playing for years, and that's going to be one of the best combinations that we're going to see in the Big 12 all year long.
Well, I think it was the catalyst tonight, right? When they went back to each other during the 2-minute drill, it really motivated this team, and they got on the same page, and they just took off from there.
Kent State is an offense that's going to rack up a lot of points in the MAC this year. They put 20 on Washington on the road last week. But this Oklahoma defense, I mean, when they are on, they are going to be just lethal against almost anybody they face.
And I don't think we haven't seen an instance where they haven't been on, right? They tackle well, they keep everything in front of them, and they get them to the ground.
I'm certain that makes one Brent Venables quite happy, and he is standing by with Alex.
Thanks, Mike. Coach Venables, well, congratulations on the win. And then wind picked up in Norman, but your offense caught wind in the second half. What was the difference?
Well, I just think we stayed patient and we didn't panic. We got some things going, obviously, throwing the football, and that set up our run game. Really got our run game going. Changed up a few things scheme-wise, based on what they were doing, blocking-wise, and really, again, we were super efficient with the football. Put them in, in a bad position offensively, and that forced them to have to throw the ball a lot. So really complimented each other well in the second half, but really proud of the guys for not, again, panicking, feeling that, we showed them a lot of tape with these guys. They went to Iowa last year, same thing at halftime, all the way in the third quarter. They went down to College Station last year, same thing as a 2-score game with, minutes to go in the third quarter. So these guys are tough, man. They challenge you in a lot of different ways. And they were dropping 8 and making us be patient. I thought our guys really did a great job making some small minor adjustments in the second half, and guys made some huge plays. Just stay together.
Coach, we appreciate your time. Go celebrate with your team.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Mike.
Alex, thank you so much. A happy Brent Venables, particularly with the way his team played in the second half.